Hello, hello, hello. You're listening to the MarkeThinkers Podcast, the show that will make you think about the wonders of digital marketing. And today we're asking you this question. What if social media apps were banned in the Philippines? Hello, 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 and welcome back to season 3 of MarkeThinkers Podcast. And I'm your market thinker, Jim. And together we'll explore this question. And for the very first episode, we're talking about what if na-ban yung mga social media apps dito sa Pilipinas. Ano ang mangyayari sa marketing? Ano ang mangyayari sa mga consumers natin dito na kapwa Pilipino? Before that, there were already social networking sites that were launched. Yung nga lang, hindi pa sila applications or mobile apps. You can access them via computer, na merong mga Ethernet, na merong mga dial-up, and sila yung mga pioneers, si Bolt and 6 Degrees. Bolt was designed by Dan Paulson, and it usually targeted 15 to 20-year-olds so that they can use it for email, for voicemail, for voice chat, message boards, and instant messaging. So para lang siyang Friendster. Ironically, si Friendster, yung unang-una or the first social media networking platform to penetrate and thrive in the Philippines back in 2002. Unfortunately, nung mga 2002, ako pa ay musmus pa lamang at nag-enjoy manood ng TV. So I never really got to experience it until nung pa-shutdown na siya back in 2012 or 2014 onwards. Wherein doon na pumasok si Facebook or nandun na sa peak sa Facebook at dumadami yung mga users niya. So back to the question, what if social media apps were banned in the Philippines? Now, on the current issues actually, nangyayari na to. No? Other social media apps are actually banned in other countries, and here's why. Okay, so for example, kay China, yung mga pagmamay-aring applications ni Meta, such as Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, and Instagram are already blocked. No? Since 2009. 2009 pa sila na-block. It is a part of a government crackdown against activities following the deadly riots in the Xinjiang province. No? Dahil doon sa mga nangyari, iniiwasan nila magkaroon ng mga gulong katulad noon. That's why those apps were banned. In India, recently lang noong June 2020, the Indian government banned TikTok. Okay, can you believe it? Paano kung wala yung TikTok sa Philippines? But of course, TikTok along with the 58 other mobile apps were banned in India because it cites activities prejudicial to sovereignty and integrity of India, defense of India, security of state, and public order. So it's a general concern of the government. That's why those applications were banned. In Iran, Facebook and Twitter have been banned since 2009, same with China, because of the disputed elections and mass protests limiting the public from government oppositions. In North Korea, recently as well, in 2016, Facebook and Twitter were blocked, and they announced that anyone trying to access them in an improper way or distribute anti-republic data from them would be punished. Medyo nakakatakot. And of course, this effect can have some, impact, especially sa Philippines na medyo social. But how can banning social media apps now affect the Filipino people? And of course, sa marketing, paano nito makaka-apekto? What if na-ban nga yung mga social media apps? Well, of course, there's the limitation to access of news and information. Because as we all know, Filipinos had shifted from social media apps as their sources of news and information. Banning these apps would create a lot of uncertainty and confusion in their surroundings. But of course, andyan yung mga dyaryo, andyan yung mga printed media that we can read. There would be an existential crisis, I believe, because social media has become a part of our daily lives. It's one of the things that distract us from reality, and removing these apps or blocking these apps might cause people to question themselves and their purpose. Lalo na yung mga content creators, yung mga influencers, kung mawawalan sila ng medium, no, to express themselves, paano nila may isa-celebrate yung creativity nila and yung individuality nila. And of course, banning these apps would go back to traditional ways of the Philippines. If there's no social media, then we'll go back to traditional marketing. where we use print ads, flyers, posters, and many more that use paper, which can affect the sustainability and disrupt the environment. Waste pollution will also increase if every business uses paper. Now, well, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but of course, going back to traditional ways will disrupt how we empower the sustainability of Mother Nature. Dahil more paper, more disruption, more waste, kumbaga. And those are just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to banning these social media apps in the Philippines. But the real question here is, why are we Filipinos so drawn to social media apps? Bakit ba G na G tayo dyan, no? Sa pag-share? Well, one thing is because Filipinos are social. No, we are known for our close-knit relationships among family and friends. And social interactions are a basic part of daily life in the Philippines, even extending to strangers, as Filipino hospitality is legendary. That's why, when it comes, it's no surprise, no? Hindi na siya sorpresa that Filipinos are quick to take to social media. Kung saan sila pwede makakonect, pwede silang makapag-share ng kwentuhan with other people or strangers, G na G ang mangyayari. And of course, social networking in the Philippines is very important. No? For Filipinos, social media is a form of connectivity that serves as a means to establish and reinforce their relationships. They are a great deal when it comes to connecting with others. No? Engaging in social networking sites is the number one activity among internet users, as its user-generated content allows for real-time updates from people from all over the country and beyond. Okay, dahil dito nakakapag-connect din tayo sa mga hindi natin kapwa Pilipino. Kaya gustong-gusto yan ng mga Pinoy. No? And of course, Filipinos are one of the most internet users in the world. No? The people, or one of those people na laging gumagamit ng internet. Because Philippines' internet penetration rate stood at 73.1% of the total population at the start of 2023 or this year. So aside from social media in the Philippines, e-commerce is also steadily solidifying its presence among netizens. So although it's a long way from giving malls a run for their money, online shopping is the second most popular activity online among Filipinos. Andiyan na yung TikTok shop. You can also shop via Instagram. No? When you click on the products, you can easily order them. Or what you can see on the picture, you can click the product and order them. Same with Facebook. So, e-commerce is quickly imprinting itself on the social networking sites or social media apps wherein you can be updated. You can be updated, but also you can shop while doing so. Okay, so now let's ask the question, what are the pros and cons of social media apps getting banned in the Philippines? Well, let's start with the pros. Okay, so starting with number one. Ano nga ba yung pros and cons of social media apps getting banned in the Philippines? Pag-usapan natin. Unang-una na yung mga pros. Okay, let's start with the positive side. So unang-una, if social media apps were banned in the Philippines, it will reduce cyber issues or cybercrime issues. With social media gone, cybercrime or cyber threats would decrease as digital platforms would be regulated. Or dahil wala na yung mga platforms kung saan freely na nakakapag-share yung mga tao ng kung ano-ano. Dahil nawalan ng ganong freedom yung tao, mas mare-regulate kung ano yung mga lumalabas. At na uusig or na-filter out yung mga content na pwede at hindi natin pwedeng makita. Next is there will be lessened unrealistic expectations. Okay? Social media houses a ton of unrealistic and exaggerated stuff that influences people's lives negatively. Okay, minsan, what you see on Facebook makes you so envious or talagang nakakainggit, minsan nakakagalit, and minsan talagang umi-epekto siya sa iyo. No? It negatively impacts you in your life. At hindi na rin mawawala yung bullying, mga friend. No? Dahil minsan may mga hindi talaga maganda nakikita doon. And yung parang positive na nakikita mo with the Filipino people, minsan hindi ganon yung makikita or mararamdaman mo or may experience mo kung ikaw yung nandun sa position ng mga na-victimize online. Okay? So, banning these apps would actually help, lessen the hate or the negativity online. Next, minimizing the risk of privacy invasion. Since social media is an open interaction platform, some accounts are prone to unwanted privacy risks. So yung mga nahahack. So kung wala namang ihahack, edi walang privacy invasion. Now let's talk about the cons. Okay, with the cons comes with the removal of the freedom of speech or self-expression. Social media contributes a lot as a free platform to voice out the thoughts and opinions. And if they're banned, it would limit the exchange of information, feedback, and sources of information. And as of right now that we are live, that we are talking, there were some issues rising in the US kung saan they were moving forward with banning TikTok. So imagine what would happen in the Philippines if nawalan ng access yung mga Filipino people, kapag nawala ng access yung mga Filipino people on how to express their ideas, their thoughts, no? Especially when it comes to different topics, mapa-political man yan, mapa-social issues man yan, mapa-entertainment issues man yan, na mawawala sila ng access to the freedom of speech or self-expression. Next, there will be a disruption of flow because people would be dumbfounded because that's the way they are used to doing things. Or dahil sanay na tayo makipag-interaction, kung mawawalan tayo ng medium for those interactions, it would create a butterfly effect that would shift the balance of the economy. And speaking of the economy would fall into chaos. Tulad nga sinasabi ko kanina, meron tayong mga TikTok shop, may mga Instagram shop, may mga e-commerce na na-imprint na sa mga social media apps. But of course, not to overreact now, but it might be the way it will go. Because e-commerce have come a long way and it's continuing to evolve, and the disruption of this would cause an imbalance in the supply and demand, no? Lack of connectivity between the network of buyers, suppliers, and the common mass. So magkakaroon talaga ng problema or chaos sa ating ekonomiya kung mawawala ang mga social media apps nito. Alright, moving forward, before we go to the what-if solutions of this problem, let's hear it from one of my friends and what they have to say about this what-if situation. Okay, so for the first cameo guest answering the question, what if social media apps were banned in the Philippines? Let's hear it from my good friend, Faye.
Hello, everyone. I'm Faye.
I just have a question for you. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Alright, so the question is, what if social media apps were banned in the Philippines? What do you think will happen? So let's look at it in two different perspectives. What will happen to the Philippines in general, and what will happen to the marketing of businesses kapag walang social media apps?
Okay, good question. Okay, so first things first, we all know that Philippines is one of the most active social media users, especially in terms of TikTok and Facebook. So I think one of the major things that would affect like the society in general would be our humor and how we connect to each other. Since we're all well aware that social media is one of the primary platforms for us to relate, communicate, especially through memes, di ba? That's very integrated in the society today. Especially when it comes to social interactions, di ba? Kasama na parang everyday kahit social conversations man lang, we always reference memes, di ba? Chacharot tayo, charis, uy, gumaganyan tayo. So, it's really integrated in our daily lives. So, I think we'd be very different right now. Baka very, hindi na tayo ganun kaslang magsalita. Baka hindi na tayo ganun comedic. Hindi na ganun ka-comedic ang ating conversations, daily conversations. Tapos, syempre, mas hindi na ganun ka-relatable ang bawat individual. So, feel ko maapektuhan siya in ways like, not just in the daily life, but also how close we become with each other. Just, how you can connect with a random person online with just referencing one thing, di ba, from social media. So, ayun, I think it heavily affects our connections, our relationships in a way that we could be maybe more distant from each other, or there's more hesitation when it comes to connecting. Ayun. So, yun yung naisip ko for in general sa society.
in
But when it
general.
comes to marketing,
Mhm.
um, halos, maybe it's a bit the same, pero since marketing right now, we're all well aware naman that trends are one of the biggest things that we ride on as marketers, especially on the daily. When Bondi was released, everyone was riding the trend, the whole, even the dunk it ng McDo, everyone was riding on it. So our ads would probably be molded in a different way wherein hindi na interconnected in a way. So kasi nga social media is primarily the platform that connects us and keeps us updated with news, not just not just the news na nilalabas ng mga news outlet, but just the daily memes, the happenings that's relatable na. So I feel like ads would have, or at least marketing ads would have a harder time connecting with its audience since we wouldn't be able to um, have the post-publishing analytics, that help us understand how our audience reacts to ads. That's like one of the major things that's more difficult, diba, to see when it comes to traditional marketing. Since kung wala ng social media marketing will be maybe sticking to the more on traditional version of digital marketing. So we'll be getting the reactions of our audiences and the data, how they receive the things that we come out with or like publish more later, like mas mabagal process of how the audience takes what we publish. Meanwhile, if social media were still there, we can see the results immediately. Like, you know how when you release something that goes viral, within a matter of minutes, you can see the results, how good your ad was, diba? So, ayun. I think marketing in general would be affected that way na we wouldn't know how our audience reacts with what we publish and what we come out with. So like the performance of our campaigns would be more difficult to track.
Correct answers. Ayun. So, kung wala ang mga social media apps dito sa Philippines, what alternatives can you think of, no, that would keep up for the businesses na makapag-digital marketing pa din sila? What other
Mm.
mediums or digital mediums can you think of na pwedeng gamitin ng mga businesses without the power of social media?
That's a very hard question.
Correct.
Considering social media basically conquers our daily lives. So I'm guessing we could, if we didn't have social media apps, we
Mm.
would still stick with commercials.
Mm.
I mean, in the television, so most people would probably still be watching television, and which is now already being dominated by online streaming platforms, diba? So, I mean, if online streaming platforms are also are still are not part of social media, it can be argued, but I'm guessing more on those kinds of things like like ads, like that you get from either streaming platforms, TV shows, movies, those kinds of content. Maybe also newspaper ads if people would still be using that. If we're gonna be stuck with that, I'm guessing it would be more on challenge when it comes to how creative you're gonna get. And ayun nga, as I mentioned, how the audience will receive it. So ayun, maybe those would be the one of the many options. I'm sure there are some I failed to mention. Ayun, if we don't have social media apps.
Alright, thank you at nakapagsagot ka ng mabilisan with that question, even if it's a challenge. Alright, thanks for sharing, Miss Faye. Alam kong marami ka pang ginagawa, so I'll let you do it. Thank you for coming by. Say goodbye to our viewers and listeners as well. Thank you.
Ayun. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, so that was a great insight from our guest, Miss Faye. But going back to that question, would there be other digital marketing opportunities aside from social media that businesses can use, for digital marketing? And there are a few, and they are existing. No? It just goes to show na wag mong ibuhos lahat ng digital marketing efforts, lahat ng budget for digital marketing sa social media lang. Because there are other mediums, there are other ways to reach your customers, to have leads, no, to have sales, even without social media. And they're already existing. Okay, so unang-una na sa lahat, email marketing. A lot of people believe that email marketing or email in general is dead. But there are other quality customers or quality lead that reads email from time to time. And madalas doon ay yung mga high quality or yung mga services na talagang intended na nilook forward or hinahanap nitong mga customers nito. You see, email is an effective tool for making direct and quick connections with target customers. It's inexpensive. Sometimes it can be free if you have a database, and it's easy to launch or automate. No, for example, if you have a scheduled email every payday, every 15th or 30th to those specific people that you are targeting, of course, you will be noticed, right? Especially if you're offering something or that email marketing contains a promotion code or a voucher code for them to use when they purchase. Next, we have the search engines. Kahit walang social media, even if there's no social media, you can still search for answers with search engines. Okay? Because customers actively look for solutions online, and that's why businesses should help search engines direct the solutions to their channels. For example, if you have a website, you can have a landing page where your users can input their details, and eventually it will lead them to you, contacting them, closing a sale, and of course, delivering the service. This practice helps businesses capture sales ready leads without the help of social media. And number three, even though it's more of the modernized take, mobile apps are also, critical on the budget itself. But if you have your own digital app or mobile application, it will become a new medium, for promotions and advertisements. You will also gain another way of revenue if you let your mobile app run some ads from other brands. Because notifying promotions of the brand while using the app, okay, will get the interest of your user. So those are some of the alternatives that you can use if social media were banned in the Philippines. Email marketing, search engines, and mobile apps. Now, of course, this type of scenario would be very difficult to handle, especially in the socialized Filipinos. But based on the effectiveness and penetration of social media within the digital view of Filipinos, other digital marketing tools may find it insufficient. Okay? Kumbaga, walang makakapantay sa power of social media. The Philippines has been marked as a social media country with more than 1 million users in different social media platforms. And it will be difficult to change the new phase of marketing or the new phase of digital marketing, especially for digital savvies that are involved in e-commerce o yung mga mahilig mag-shopping online. Paano sila makakahanap ng mga references, ng mga testimonials, ng reviews kung wala namang platform for every customers to share their experience and reviews of these products. Right? So talagang mahirap. Mahirap ang magiging sitwasyon ng Philippines if social media apps were banned in the country. So sana hindi mangyari iyon. All right, you have just listened to the MarkeThinkers Podcast powered by Emerge. That's a wrap for today's episode. And again, this is your MarkeThinker Jim. And remember, digital first is the new rule. Thank you for listening. See you next time.